Good evening, good evening. Welcome along. Welcome to the featured streamer broadcast. Just a couple of administrative things. Please be aware that during the featured streamer broadcasts, notifications will be silent, interaction with chat will be limited. If you have any questions in chat, please hold them to the end when we'll open questions to chat. And when you do ask questions, please remain respectful. Without further ado, Firebat, welcome.
Hey, how's it going? There's a pretty professional thing you got going down there. I feel like it's a real, you made a real show, dude.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
because otherwise people ask questions and then I miss them and then like they just completely get ignored and then they get angry. So yeah, and I've also said notifications are silent, but it would help if I silenced them. Perfect. Right, I'm just gonna go straight in at you. So let's start with
Cool.
nice and simple stuff. What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, I gotta like, well, it depends on like what kind of mood I'm in or whatnot. If I'm looking for comfort food or if I'm looking for something more exciting. But let's just keep it easy. Let's go with lasagna or lasagna.
Do we have salad
Pretty
with lasagna?
classic. No, no, no.
No,
You
no,
just
okay.
get the family-sized meal and
Just
eat it
more
all alone
lasagna.
by yourself.
Right, okay. Got it. Are we tea or coffee?
Yeah. I drink both tea and coffee, but it kind of depends. I usually switch to tea after I've been drinking coffee so much that my caffeine intake's kind of overloaded, and I hurt my back if I drink any more caffeine. So then I decide to take a break and switch to tea, which helps with the back pain caused from the coffee. So I kind of just go on an endless cycle of self-torture, and it's
That
good.
sounds like a beautiful thing. What's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Water. I'm a big fan of water.
Wow.
Really like water. I don't know. I drink
That,
water all the time.
like just tap,
I used to,
or is this like bottled water?
yeah, just like tap water. I
Oh,
used to have
okay.
a giant pitcher that I would just drink
Yep.
straight out of the pitcher. Yeah, the Brita filter. People really like that, and then some people really didn't like that. I had a whole community drift created between people that enjoyed the pitcher and people that thought I was childish for drinking out of a pitcher. And as my viewership has gained older over the last 7 years, I've decided to move away from the pitcher to
I
try
thought it
and.
would just look convenient, to be honest.
It was convenient at the time. That's why it started, right? I
Yeah.
didn't want this whole political subculture to be divided in my chat between pitcher and non-pitcher, but it happened. It was just there for convenience in the beginning, but I've grown out of the pitcher. So now I have to drink water out of water bottles like an adult.
Yeah. Do you drink alcohol?
I used to. Don't drink alcohol anymore. I don't know. I had some stomach problems related to alcohol sort of stuff. I don't know why, but I just have like a bad stomach when it comes to drinking alcohol. It causes all sorts of problems for me, so I had to just stop.
Did you have a favorite alcoholic drink before you stopped?
Favorite alcoholic drink? Probably like Two Hearted. It was
That sounds American to me.
yeah, it's some American IPA beer
Oh,
thing.
okay.
I don't know. It's basically what my dad drank. So since my dad drank it all the time, it kind of reminds me of home, sort of thing. So good
Nice.
feeling. So whenever I can find it, it's like not a beer that's readily available everywhere. It's more like local to Michigan and sort of stuff where I grew up. So whenever I see that available somewhere, it reminds me of home and it's comfy.
Nice. Nice. If you had made your own cocktail, what would you call it?
The Firebat, obviously, right? You
Yeah.
got to do that. So probably the
Yep.
Firebat.
Self-advertising. What does the Firebat taste like?
It's got to be hot. You definitely light it on fire at some point. It's one of those drinks that for some reason you light it on fire, even though there's absolutely no reason to light something on fire. You
Yeah.
just do it for the showmanship and whatnot. And then, yeah, it probably tastes very fiery, hot. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like the cinnamon flavored drinks though, so maybe I wouldn't even like the Firebat. But
that doesn't matter as
whatever.
long as it's sponsorship, right? I used to work as a bartender. We used to light drinks for a living. Like we used to light things like a flaming Lamborghini and stuff. And then we set the manager's hair on fire, and then we no longer lit flaming drinks. Just trying to do a flaming Lamborghini, a hair caught fire. It's all on YouTube somewhere. It was yeah, it never happened again. Okay, now
Man.
obviously you don't play music on stream, but I'm aware that you've got a pretty damn good music taste. What is your favorite band of all time?
My favorite band of all time? Oh my God, that's a tough
Or
question.
a
that a lot
couple
of
if
people.
narrowing it down is impossible.
I mean, it changes from time to time. You never have the same favorite band for too long, especially with how much music that just general comes out. I pulled my Spotify up right now, and I'm just kind of like scrolling through it. Have you heard all of the like crazy stuff from like don't use Spotify and the business practices of Spotify, by the way?
No, not a clue. I use
Oh, that's probably
Spotify
too.
all the time, 24/7 on stream.
Apparently, they're destroying the music industry, so
Oh,
that's a whole thing.
well, that's
If
right.
you
I'm
wanna-
using it for independent artists, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. The Killers was
Hot Fuss was one of the best albums the last 20 years. I
yeah.
loved that album.
I was a big fan of the Foo Fighters for a while. I like Glass Animals a lot. Usually anything that's kind of like alternative indie rock sort of
Yeah,
stuff. And then any of the more like weird music. I usually dig pretty weird music.
yeah. We've definitely, I mean, you didn't play music often, but when you used to be able to play music on Twitch back in the day, we definitely had some interesting music inserts. It's very unusual that a streamer would play music and I wouldn't have heard half of it, but you seem to manage to find a lot of strange shit to come out with.
I don't know why that is. I've never really liked this super mainstream music. But sometimes you're in a mood where you need that extra energy or something like that, and like pop music can be really good for that.
Yeah.
Some sort of like electric thing, the popular music whenever it gets you going.
Yeah, fair enough. What's the best live gig you've ever been to?
Live gig. What do you mean by live gig?
Yeah, live band playing.
Oh, I haven't actually been to too many concerts at all. I was supposed to go to a couple of concerts with Rachel, but then like COVID happened, so I didn't go to too many. So the last concerts I've been to was like high school, and I saw what's the Jumper? What's the band that does Jumper? Yeah, would you step that from my ledge, my friend?
Never heard that in my life.
You never heard? That's a super popular song. I think it's like Third Eye Blind or something.
Yeah, you got to remember the music industry is different here. Like we get different stuff, don't we? Unless it's big, then it's not anything big.
Third Eye Blind was kind of big, but not that big. They had like 2 songs, so most of the concert, everyone was like, "Who the hell is playing?" I don't. And then like booing, and then they'd play their one song, and then everyone would be like, "Oh my god, I love them!"
Yeah.
They'd try to play their other songs that nobody's heard of, and they'd be like, "These guys are terrible."
I've never been to a sort of one-hit wonder thing, like Tribe Called Quest with the "Can I Kick It" or something, like where they've got that one massive hit and then nothing, absolutely nothing. What's your guilty pleasure? Is there a type of music that you'd listen to sort of only on your own in private that you don't like to admit to?
Only on my own in private. Nah, I kind of share pretty much everything in my life with the internet at this point. So there's nothing really that I do in private. I don't know.
You haven't got like a secret hankering for the Spice Girls or some other strange.
No, not the Spice Girls. Let's see. Sometimes I listen to like some really weird YouTube artists and kind of stuff like that. Stuff that's like not on Spotify too much and whatnot. But I don't know what they're called. It's usually things that you just find on other playlists or live streaming things that are streaming now that you kind of just type in music on YouTube and then scroll down and click on one of the videos at random and then just let it play kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know like the title of the artist, but I love doing that. Love listening to like just random couple hour playlists, throw them on in the background.
Oh, gotcha.
And I won't even know what the artists are though, because it's just one long video and it doesn't say like now playing.
Yeah, but it's fresh, right? It's something that you haven't heard before. It's something, to keep it going.
Right. I wish honestly it would have a feature where you could turn on and it would be like now playing such and such.
So you could listen to it again at some point.
I could remember it at some point because I'm not going to alt tab from my game to go, ooh, what's this song? Because it's usually you're in a game that can't pause and whatnot. So I just keep going.
Ah, well, fair enough. Yeah. Do you drive?
Yeah, I drive occasionally.
What's the best?
It's not my favorite activity.
No. What's the best song to drive to? Sort of maybe late at night through a tunnel, 90 kilometers an hour. What are we listening to?
Best song to drive to? I just listen to the radio.
Yeah.
I don't have the setup to. Well, I probably could figure out how to hook my phone up with the Bluetooth and all of that. But it seems like a pain in the ass. So I don't know. I've got somewhere to go. I'm in the car.
You don't ever drive for pleasure.
No, I never. I hate driving. It's one of my least favorite activities. I feel like I'm going to die all the time when I'm driving. I'm not a bad driver.
Are you sure? If you feel like you're going to die, maybe you're a terrible driver.
No, I just feel unsafe generally in cars. Maybe I'm paranoid. I don't know. But it's not my favorite place to be. I would prefer to not be in a car if I can. So I never drive for pleasure.
No, that's fair. That's fair. You're an anime person, right? Somewhat.
I wouldn't classify myself as
you like a bit of anime,
person,
right?
But I enjoy anime, yes, but I have not watched it in many years, and I haven't really like followed it. I wouldn't call myself like a weeb or anything, no. But I would watch.
Go on.
Huh?
Go on.
If someone was like, "Hey, do you want to go watch some anime?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, let's watch some anime." But I've not really ever watched anime on my own, you know.
Oh, okay, because we brought up a contentious topic recently. You prefer dubs to subs as such.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a hot topic. A lot of people didn't like that. But the way I see it, I would much rather watch a movie or watch TV than read a book while somebody yells at me in a foreign language. And I think it basically covers
Well,
it.
when you put it like that, I think most of us would. No, fair enough. And what about films? Favorite film?
Growing up, my favorite film was Shrek. Since then, I don't know if there's anything that's quite stolen the spotlight from Shrek for me, honestly. Shrek was a cinematic masterpiece for me as a child. And I don't know, most of the movies lately haven't been super great. I like Chicago Fire 7,
Yeah.
The Trial of Chicago Fire. That was pretty cool.
I like the idea that
But
nothing's quite got up to Shrek yet. I like that. I can go with that. I mean, when you put him in straight comparison, I mean, not much ticks as many boxes as Shrek. I mean,
It's
it
really
really
a good
does hit a
movie
lot of
for me.
points. Um,
I was the right age for that movie too when it came out, so I don't know.
yeah.
But I'm not a big movie guy. I feel like I have some sort of issue with attention span because usually I'm doing something on my other screen, doing something on my main screen, and watching TV or a movie at the same
Yeah.
time. So I'm not giving movies my most full attention. So I feel really bad, especially when people are like, "This is such a great movie," and then I'm just like, I can't sit still long enough to really get into it. They're like,
Yeah.
"This is a movie you got to focus and pay attention to," and it's like I'm 45 minutes in, and then I start doing something else at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I didn't really connect with it. It is partially my fault because I'm not giving it the attention that it deserves. But I don't know, just not the type of person that really likes to sit down and do the same thing for that long.
Apart from, endless hours of the same game.
Well, it's kind of different when you're doing that because you're talking to chat, you're having like other discussions. A lot of
Yeah.
times when I'm playing Hearthstone now, I'm spending like maybe 25% of the time thinking about the game, and the rest of it I'm trying to figure out, what chat's talking about and have a conversation about some other thing. It's almost unrelated to the game. I have like a few YouTube videos now where it's like a 30-minute long game, and I don't even once mention what's happening in the game. I'm just talking about other stuff. So
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not exactly something that requires your whole attention anymore, is it? But those 2-hour movies with the whole like two-screen thing is a terrible invention. I love it, but when I'll be watching a movie and then the following day somebody will say to me, "Oh, have you seen blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "Oh, I watched that last night." They were saying, "Oh yeah, did you enjoy it?" I was like, "I can't remember what it was about." The game was great though. But if it does come to films, are we Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, or neither?
Both Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings for sure. Rachel's a huge fan. She's my girlfriend. She's got the little bobblehead guys for both of those. We have a giant picture framed map of the entire world of Lord of the Rings. We got like all sorts of random crap. We got Lord of the Rings pillows. We got Harry Potter pillows, stuffed animals.
That's brilliant.
The whole 9 yards, like everything. We got all the books. We got all the movies. She likes to do a movie marathon of each of those with like her friends at least once a year. So once a year we have people over and you have the weekend and you watch them all in a row. And then we have like the cookbooks from those movies, and we cook things
from those movies.
Yeah, they have cookbooks, and then when the scene happens that they're eating that food, you bring out that food. That's how you do it.
That is such a
we got a
Rachel
science to the
That is such
the
a
movie,
Rachel thing.
movie marathon night.
What
And then
cuisine
there's
can I
also-
match to this dinner, to this film?
Yeah, then there's also like alcoholic beverages that might
Yeah.
mix and match with those kind of things. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I like that. If there was a film about Firebat, who would be playing you?
I would hope me.
No,
but
no,
I
no. You
guess
have
if
to.
I-
It has to be someone else.
Okay. It has to be somebody else that
Yeah.
plays you.
I don't think you qualify as a paid actor. Sorry.
Yeah. Have you seen what's the movie where the guy is trying to become a drummer?
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
It's a good
it's
movie.
got a
It's a good
one-word
movie.
name. It's like not
Right.
like
And the
race or
teacher's
something.
really mean. And the
yeah.
guy's,
It's a fantastic film. That it's not called Drive, but it's called something similar to that. It's like a one-word thing. Is
terrible
this the
with
drummer
names.
guy or the angry teacher
Yeah.
guy?
The drummer guy. I like the drummer guy, not the angry teacher
Okay,
guy.
Dan will find out for us. He's good at that sort of thing.
I'm the worst at actors and movie names and stuff like that.
Ben says where he lives, he has a pub called the Hobbit, which is like that's a bar, but like more public, which is drinks inspired by the franchise. That sounds pretty good. I'd go for a Bilbo pint. Oh, speak of the devil.
Whiplash is the name of the movie. That just
Whiplash,
got me.
brilliant film.
Whiplash.
Brilliant film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the main character from Whiplash.
If you haven't seen that film, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's really, really damn good. If there's a film world or film universe that you could be in, oh, hold on.
His name is J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought he was the angry guy, but okay, that works. Yeah, if there's a film universe that you could be in, what would it be? Like, you don't have to take part of the story at all. You can just be a wizard in Harry Potter, or go sit on a rock in Star Wars, or...
Yeah, having magic sounds pretty good. Being a wizard in Harry Potter is not too bad.
I can imagine.
I guess everyone else would have magic too, I guess, which might cause into some troubles. But it seems like a pretty cool place to be.
I don't think you'd run into any trouble if you were a wizard. You'd be doing too many silly things that were completely not, not offensive to anyone.
Sense that you're using magic, and then the Ministry of Magic comes after you, or whatever that whole shenanigans.
They find out that you're using your wand to bring your drink to you from across the room. Just guaranteed.
What level would they? What level would they prosecute that in? Right?
Yeah.
If you just only very small things just to keep daily life easier, are they just going to let that slide, or are they going to send in, the wizard FBI to come abduct you?
I think you'd be experimenting for hours. Can I make my moustache larger? Can I teleport through this window? We'd just be playing around.
Yeah, try and come up with a list of the concrete things you're allowed to do that you can get away with before the Ministry of Magic comes and finds you and takes you away, punishes you for abusing your magic powers outside of the school or whatever.
Oh, Firebat wizard. That would be a good laugh. I think this question's a pretty much a given answer, but have you got a favorite game or game series of all time?
Favorite game or game series of all time? I mean, I really like Hearthstone because of the job opportunities that it's created for me. I really like StarCraft, though. That was the first game I probably fell in love with. And then Warcraft 3 was probably the game that I loved the longest until they brought it back from the dead and murdered it. So, I don't know. Those are all Blizzard titles, so a lot of the Blizzard games I really liked. Lately, I've been getting into more board game style games. I've been playing like For the King and Divinity.
Oh, Divinity's that kind of brilliant. Stuff. Yeah, I love those games.
Some of the like turn-based RPG games is sort of what I'm getting into now. But yeah, originally my first love in video gaming was RTS games. My second love was probably card games. Now my third love is like really long turn-based RPGs. So
have you started on Final Fantasy yet?
No, I haven't started on Final Fantasy yet.
Yeah, you'll get lost in that.
That's like what? That's like they got like 30 games now, and then they're remastering all of them. But they didn't remaster the first one, so you got to start at the second one.
Yeah, you got to start at the second one.
What is with that?
I think the first one was just an embarrassment, really. I think the series doesn't really start until 7.
So how do you get the full story, though?
No. Each game's got its individual story. They're not sequels.
Oh, okay. There's not overarching.
There's only like 2 different games where there's actually sequels.
I was going to say
10 and 10.
Who the hell could keep up all the notes to track this freaking story if they're all
No. It's just the one storyline. It's just the one. Do you have a favorite Hearthstone card ever? And is it the Firebat? Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, when you get a card named after you, it's really special. So I really like that.
Are you now in Wild?
Yeah, my card has been.
Well, it's better than, I mean, in some ways, you would have preferred to go to the Hall of Fame, but at least it still gets played, right?
Yeah, it does not get played in a while, but at least it's there. They have the option to play it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of the Hearthstone cards are pretty sweet. Yeah. For Christmas 2 years ago, I think it was either 2 or 3 years ago, I got my family 3D versions of cards that I thought represented them. So I got my dad this cool like 3D version of Tyrion. I got my mom a 3D version of Alexstrasza because she's the bringer of life and death. So yeah.
Your mother's the bringer of life and death?
Oh, well, whatever her voice line is. Yeah, that's what her voice line is.
Yeah. No, I just meant that it's that's what you said to your mother.
If you knew my mother, you would know. Like she's probably in this world. She could take you out.
That's fantastic. I love that. Is there a game that you remember from your childhood that you really enjoyed, like young childhood?
Tons of them. Yeah, I liked my favorite game on the N64 was Space Station Silicon Valley, which was this really small game that not a lot of people played, where you're a microchip and a spaceship crashes, and you're a microchip from the spaceship, and you come off this spaceship, and the spaceship crashed, killing some sheep, and then you can go inside the body of the sheep. And then the sheep have a certain attack on the A button and a certain attack on the B button. And then from the sheep, you got to figure out, all right, how do I kill this wolf? And you can't really attack him. So you kind of like trick him into running into an electric fence. And then you can hop out of the wolf or hop out of the sheep into the wolf. And you kind of upgrade through the food chain to solve different sorts of dynamic puzzles to make it to this end goal, switching bodies between different creatures. And then there's just a whole series of levels like that. It was a really cool game.
That's an incredible
I had
concept.
A lot of fun.
Like, how have I never heard of this? Sounds amazing.
It was a super fun game.
What did you call it?
So, Space Station Silicon Valley.
Space Station Silicon Valley. Wow. What a name.
Yeah, it was a really, really well-made game. It was super fun.
That sounds brilliant.
And you can't play it on emulator, though, because the N64 emulator is so sketchy, and a lot of the ROMs don't work with it.
You could just get an N64.
They're expensive.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat.
And do they even hook up to the modern TVs anymore? Then you got to get the adapter to hook up to the TVs.
I haven't got a clue. I can't imagine something I could buy my husband that he'd be more happy with than an N64. So I might have to look into that.
Yeah, well, let me know if you figure it out, because I actually kind of want to get an N64 too, because those are kind of the games I have the most nostalgia for. And
yeah,
you
but my
can't emulate
nostalgia
them very
for
well.
those sorts of old games comes from playing with other people in the house, like just sitting there, two controllers, bashing away at each other on Smash Bros. Or GoldenEye or whatever. And we just don't do that in this world anymore. Like, you want to play a game with a friend, you just call them on Discord. I can't remember the last time someone came round and we just sat there with two controllers, bashing on each other's heads. That's yeah.
Well, I had my girlfriend Rachel isn't a gamer, so like she has a computer that we could like call on Discord and do games like that. But we prefer usually when we play games to play, your Mario parties or whatever, sitting next to each other, because she's not super into games. Any of the more like casual side by side games, we do that all the time.
So maybe there is a shout, but maybe it's just me that's not doing it properly.
We even got Dance Dance Revolution. That one's always a hit at
with
parties.
the mat on the floor?
Yeah, with the official mats on the floor and everything. So you get people drunk, get them playing Dance Dance Revolution. That's a good party.
A few broken legs. That sounds brilliant.
It's fun.
Okay, it starts to get a little bit harder now. We're going to go delving a bit more into who you are. So you're stranded, desert island. You can't rescue yourself, no communication, no electronics, that sort of thing. But you can take some things with you. What one possession would you want to have with you?
To take to a desert island, one possession. Sunscreen.
You know what? I've had hats, I've had guitars, I've had sentimental teddy bears.
Well, I'm not a big sentimental guy.
Sunscreen's a weird one. I'm
a practical guy.
Yeah, that's sensible.
I'm pale. I'm pale and practical. Those are the things you need to know about me. So I need that sunscreen.
Fair enough. One book.
Book? The biggest one I can find for making fire. I'm not a big reader.
I see where this is going.
My plan going into this desert island thing is this is a mission and I'm going to come back alive. That's my plan. So it's not like I'm looking for a sentimental story to read until I die. No, we're going to use these resources to figure out a way out of here. So I'm not taking something that is going to inspire, spend time with or do anything like that. Something that I can use as a resource. So I'm just going for bulk mass on this.
So we've gone for the entire chronicles of the, Britannia encyclopedias from A to Z in 72 font.
I guess if that's an
that'll
option,
work.
Isn't that more than one? That's more than one book.
Oh, yeah, it probably is these days. But
I only get like one letter, so I got to go with like the E or something. Whichever one's the most common.
I love it. Right, so this one's probably not going to help you in any practical form. One music album. Obviously there's no electronics, but let's just say you can stick the CD to your head and you can hear it.
One music CD album. Player in my head.
Yeah, why not?
Wow.
Why not? Just one album to get you through your time.
Well, if we're going to turn this on its practical head, then the way we're going to do this is we're going to try. There has to be some sort of like combat music that's so high frequency that it could like kill birds or something, so that I could get a food source. So I'd be looking for that, some sort of like off the grid, sort of military grade.
Military grade
surely
music
at
album.
Some point,
music
at
album,
some point, the United States military has been experimenting with sound to kill birds. At some point, that had to have happened. We've tried everything. So I would try and locate these sort of hidden albums that the United States military has at some point used to slay birds from range. And then I would play them from the side of my head to, hunt for food.
Oh dear, what am I going to do with you? Okay, so here's where you get to choose.
I would take the pages of the encyclopedia, right, and I'd stuff them in my own ears, so I'm not hurting myself with the sound. So it all comes together. We use all the resources.
This is a beautiful image. There's no bending trees and extracting water. There's just you nodding with encyclopedia ears and a CD of high-pitched music at various wildlife. Now, are we sticking with the practical, or are we taking Rachel? One person you could take with you if you're going to be stuck there for life.
One person. Well, Rachel's like very small, so I could not eat her for very much sustain. So, but then here's where the predicament comes in, right? Someone like let's say you bring Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Obviously a lot of meat on that.
But
I can't kill Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's going to be eaten. So you got to find someone that's you think that you can eat, but at the same time isn't going to overpower you. And is
so like Mr. Blobby or something.
Nutrition.
Actually, you're not going to get that reference. But yeah, somebody who's rather large and not very competent at anything.
Yeah, or somebody that's really good at getting out of places. Honestly, the more I think about it, you bring Dwayne the Rock Johnson, people are going to know he's gone. There's going to be a much wider search for
You don't
Dwayne
think there's going to be a hunt party for you?
I think honestly, people would give up after 48 hours for sure, and I wouldn't really blame them. So I don't know if they...
That's a tragic outlook on life. There's a few people who'd look for me for more than a couple of days. No one important.
Let's be... Where is the desert island located at specifically?
If you knew that, you'd be able to get out. Middle of bloody nowhere.
Can you give me like an
Mars.
ocean? Mars.
Yeah, I did tell you we're coming back.
Elon. We're bringing Elon. That's who's coming with me then. If we're on Mars, that's the parameters of the game. We're bringing Elon Musk.
Beautiful.
Actually, wait. That's a bad idea. Actually, he's the only one. He would be the one that has to save me. So I need to bring someone Elon cares about.
His daughter. Yeah,
because he's the one that.
If he has a daughter,
we'll bring Elon's. Okay, sure. We'll bring Elon's daughter, and then he'll come save us both.
So here you are. You're on a desert island on Mars with Elon Musk's daughter and the encyclopedia's E letter and a music album full of high-pitched noises and some sunscreen. Very helpful. What do you miss most?
Probably Earth.
More specifically, one specific thing from Earth? Are we missing the food? Are we missing the people? Are we missing friends? Are we missing video games?
Right. It would definitely be like friends and people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
the social side of things, right? Because I'd be in isolation. Well, I guess I'd have Elon Musk's daughter to talk to, but I don't really know her. We might not have that much chemistry.
You didn't plan for the social side of that, so
I think as these questions have progressed, I've really strayed away. I've flowed too close to the practical side of things, strayed away from the social side of things, which maybe is true about my own real life too. Maybe this entire game's just a reflection on what I should try and prioritize more in life. Maybe I got to call my mom, man.
She is the bringer of life and death.
Yeah.
Highly relevant. Right, let's find out a bit about you as a streamer, maybe some things that people don't know. I know how you became a successful streamer, but how did you become a streamer in the first place?
I hit start streaming.
Why?
A lot of people told me to. I was surrounded by a lot of people that really wanted me to stream, and everyone was telling me how much of an opportunity I had since I happened to win Worlds, and I felt like it was I kind of had to do.
So it came from the Hearthstone. The Hearthstone came first.
Yeah, well, the Hearthstone, I played Hearthstone. I happened to do well in Hearthstone. I had a lot of pressure to go out there and do something with my life. You know, I had just gotten out of high school and was like just starting college. It was in my first year of college. I had this great opportunity. Everyone was like, don't blow this opportunity. Don't waste it. You have to do something. So it's more outside pressures than me intrinsically wanting to become a streamer, I guess, per se. But I also wanted to make money. You know, I saw that you could make money doing it. And so that was a little bit of a motivation. But it was more about just like trying to do something that with the opportunity that felt meaningful. I was just more afraid of letting an opportunity pass me by than actually anything else.
Yeah, fair enough. You capitalized. You then won the World Championship in 2014. You were how old?
I was either 17 or 18. Yeah.
17, I believe. Were you still in college at that point?
Yeah, I was in my first year of college. Well, kinda. I stopped going to do this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did the college turn out?
Yeah. So like I was technically enrolled still, but I just like stopped going to go to do worlds and all that sort of stuff. So
Probably the better choice, really. Let's give it that. What makes you a good streamer? Why should people, why do people come to your channel?
usually people come to my channel because I'm, nice to them and I answer any questions. That's the vibe I try and go for anyway. A lot of times people will get very frustrated when they're streaming, and streamers will get mad at chat because they've asked the same question like 100 times. And my kind of motto and my vibe is that's part of the job. New people coming in all the time. If there's a hot topic question and they ask you 100 times, that's just part of what it is. So,
Yep.
Try and be polite to them. They obviously weren't here. Sometimes, you give this trust and this freedom to the viewers and you give them this benefit of the doubt, and some people abuse it.
Yeah.
And just purposely try and take your good-natured responses and keep trying to agitate you and poke you and see how long can we try and be obnoxious to this guy before he breaks character and stops being nice to me. And, that'll happen eventually. It takes a while.
I don't know. You do pretty well in that sense. It takes quite a lot to poke the bat.
I try to do my best to try and be as polite as possible and answer all questions as thoroughly as possible. And, that's about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's your favorite moment from Twitch stream alone of your streaming career so far? Do you have a highlight where just something happened? It was just a magical little moment.
Well, some of my favorite moments have been like the charity stream I did with Schick was really cool, where we raised like a ton of money for charity, and I shaved my head on stream, and I don't know, it was pretty fun. I was able to connect with people and be silly. I like that kind of stuff. I like doing charity streams. I've been trying to do more of them, but the paperwork and all the other off the streaming
takes
stuff is really
takes a lot for a very short period of time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But no, that's understandable. What's your favorite game to play off stream at the moment?
Lately, I've been playing Divinity 2.
Divinity 2 Original Sin, that one?
Yeah, that one. I'm like 28 hours into that, so I've been having a lot of fun playing that.
That's a journey. That's an absolute journey. Is there a game that you wish you could be a successful streamer at? If you could have, clicked your fingers and gone, do you know what? Instead of streaming Hearthstone, I became successful in X game.
Shooters, probably. Shooters seem like way easier to stream than almost anything else because there's so much action going on. And
you don't even have to
with
talk.
Hearthstone and a lot of the other games, there's like so much dead air that you fill that people are expecting, especially if you don't use music to help you fill that dead air. You got to be like saying stuff, engaging with people, doing things. A lot of the really successful shooter streamers, they're just a god at the game, and people watch them because of that. With a lot of the more strategy-driven things, you can be good at the game, and some people watch you with that, but to really explode, you have to be both good and able to fill the dead time that the game produces, because there's just not as much flashy action for the viewer to just follow. Whereas some of these other games where it's just action, if you're just providing awesome action, then people are going to love it.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to say anything.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think although, obviously, you were a very successful Hearthstone player in your time, I think over time you've become more of an entertainer.
I've been trying to anyway.
Yeah. You focus on that aspect of it. Oh, definitely. I mean, you only have to watch the YouTube videos. How did the Batcave team thing come to be?
Somebody said you should call your subs something, and I was like, I don't know. What am I going to... And then it's some sort of Batcave team thing, and then that's...
There we go. Welcome to the Batcave team thing, man. Incredible. I love the way that it's actually become a slogan on your YouTube channel. Welcome to the Batcave team thing, man.
I always knew that having something to kind of like call your subs and whatnot would be important, because it's good to just have that sense of community and keeps people coming back and all sorts of things. It helps with retention. I've like read reports and seen stuff about that, but man, does it feel ridiculous to try and start a trend You're sitting there, you say the Batcave team thing. It took 2 years before anybody even understood what the hell I was saying.
You do it very quickly.
For the first 2 years, it was like, what is this moron saying? Is what everyone kept typing, and they're just very confused. But now it's a huge part of my channel and a reason why people keep coming back, I think. So it's kind of crazy that you got to make yourself look like a fool for a really long time to start a trend. But I think those trends and the sense of community that they bring are worth it at the end of the day. But it felt silly.
You say 2 years. It took me 4.5 years to get the words precisely right for a command. Like, because it's not even consistent. Like, sometimes just like, and then you go 10 minutes wait while we try and read somebody's name incorrectly. Welcome to the blah, 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 blah. It's like, fantastic. I mean, I welcome people to the Duck Pond daily. I know exactly how stupid you feel. But yeah,
it's worth it though. I think it actually honestly helps and works and makes people feel more connected, which is the goal at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%.
Be connected and feel like it's a place where they belong.
Yeah. Where did the idea for Deck Doctor come from?
Zalay. Zalay did
really?
Deck Doctor.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
I think he took it from a magic thing that existed before, and then he started doing the whole Deck Doctor thing. And then I said, can I try doing that for a while? And then I started doing it. We were just doing it for...
Because you did it together for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, we did it together a bunch. We did it together all the time. But yeah, it was for subs originally is what we did it for when we were both like much smaller streamers. So, and then it started actually becoming so successful that our entire stream was just Deck Doctoring. Yeah. Just Deck Doctor for like 4 or 5 hours straight with just, so we had to up it from subs to like $15. And then now the evolution of Deck Doctor, if I didn't have Deck Doctor open for a reasonable rate, that would be my entire stream is just chaining Deck Doctors back to back.
100,000 channel points.
Now it's 100,000 channel points, and I just try and reward like the most loyal viewers. So I'm not just doing it all the time. Because the thing about Deck Doctors, they're really fun. You can engage really well with the community. Some decks are not worth doctoring, and some are not.
I love the way that mostly we try and stay faithful, but occasionally you're just like, no. I've made this deck. It works, but it doesn't look like yours.
We also adapted the format for. OmniSlash, which was a company that picked up a bunch of streamers, and one of their goals was to grow a YouTube channel and to grow a Twitter page. So to help them with their goal, we did a Twitter-based submission Deck Doctor thing. So people would follow, retweet the post, and then submit their codes. So this way, it solved one of the issues of the formula where now it's not just anybody submitting a random code. I go through and I'm like, all right, this one's going to make a good video. Like this one actually has some substance and things I can change and talk about. It makes sense. It's not an absolute meme, or this one's such a meme that it would be hilarious to doctor or whatnot. So it gives you more control over the content, so you can make sure that the videos are going to be good. And that worked out pretty well, too, to help try and build that channel up.
Yeah, that OmniSlash was with Frodan and Kibler, right?
Frodan, Kibler, Zalay, Petra, yeah.
Yeah, you've been through a fair few teams, I say teams, you know what I mean, like a sort of group, a syndicate, if you like.
Yeah.
Is that something you miss, that sort of social aspect of the more competitive Hearthstone, rather than the streaming?
Not really. I mean, my general day-to-day never really changed between teams and independents. I still always talk to the same practice partners, whether I was in team with them or not. And I still always, played with the same people. Like, your general structure of who you interact with almost doesn't change at all. Pretty much everybody on teams in Hearthstone anyway just interacted with the practice partners that they came up interacting with and, enjoyed spending time with. So it was kind of weird. Teams were all 100% like profit focused whenever I was on a team.
Of course.
They were all streaming number focused and profit focused, and honestly did not care about tournaments or tournament placements at all. Yep. Literally 100% of all the teams, even like the Cloud9s and because I was on the competitive teams too, and they did not care how well you did in tournaments.
That's how well you
they just only cared. Maximum amount of streaming minutes per month was all that was cared for Hearthstone. For some of the other divisions and the other more competitive esports, they cared about other things. But like, I don't know, it was like maybe 2016 that teams stopped caring about Hearthstone esports, I'd say, and only cared about Hearthstone viewership.
Unfortunately,
it died off.
That may be true of the public viewership as well, though. I mean, Hearthstone competitive scene definitely has received less and less interest over time.
Sure. But in 2016, it was still really big. The teams gave up on it way before the public gave up on it. there was like background pushers and movers that were saying that, you know, the writing's on the wall that Hearthstone competitive is not going to be as pushed of a thing by teams for way before the viewership actually started falling off, I'd say.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't know.
Do you prefer the YouTube or the Twitch? I mean, obviously one comes from the other, but what do you prefer?
Yeah, I don't know how to make YouTube videos without making Twitch VODs at the moment, you know, because the way I've always done it is I stream on Twitch, and then I'm partnered with Ed, my editor, who then takes my Twitch VOD, edits it, changes some things, and then maybe pokes me and says, hey, could you voice over this little bit, or hey, could you do something for this little bit? And then he does it all himself, and I'm not actually involved in the YouTube process, really. I've been getting more hands-on in it. We had a stumble where we got stuck at 179K subs. So I was like, all right, we're going down now. And so why are we going down? Why are we trending down? I looked into like vidIQ. I looked into and talked to some other YouTubers about things and trends and stuff. Figured out how to set up keywords better and end cards better, and did like some playlist ordering stuff, and got things back up to growing again, which is good. Because that's always your biggest fear as a content creator, is like, as long as I'm growing, I'm happy. It doesn't even matter how slowly I'm growing. I could be growing at like 0.1%. I'm like, at least we're not dying. But when it starts going down and backwards, that's when it's like, oh God, everything's
You wonder how
to an end,
fast it's going to tilt
closing.
over the mountain. Yeah.
Oh, it tilts pretty fast. It tilts pretty fast too. You get momentum going forward, you grow really fast. You get momentum going backward, you die really fast.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I mean, you have managed to be one of the most, in my opinion, sustainable, certainly from the YouTube perspective, sustainable brands, if you like, within the Hearthstone world. I mean, you've been going now for 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
And it's not slowed down, has it? Well, I mean, obviously we had the little minor, massive surge when you won the World Championship. I mean, that tends to get some people's attention occasionally. But post that, you've kept it quite consistent.
I did not do YouTube until later on Twitch. So that was like way after the World Championship.
Yeah, no, I meant just in general. Like, you've been, as a content creator for Hearthstone, you've been very consistent. Do you think there's a secret to that?
I had a lot of passion for the game, so I think that helps a little bit. I had a lot of friends and connections inside the space pushing me to do things. Like, for example, like if I go to make content for other games right now, like I try to make content for Slay the Spire, I get kind of bored of Slay the Spire kind of quickly because the game's a little repetitive. You just keep going through the same ascension levels. But the main reason I find myself disconnecting from it faster than I disconnected and disengaged with from Hearthstone is because I know like 100 people in the Hearthstone space because I came up through there. And now, like, shifting to another game, I know like maybe 1 or 2 people in that content creation scene. Yeah. But back in the like 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, I was making content with like 10, 12 different people on a weekly basis. There was like different people that I was in their videos. They were in my videos. We were all kind of pushing towards one common goal together a little bit, which was to prove that Hearthstone was an esport. Was kind of like this big thing. Prove that there's skill, you know, show that, you know, it's not a joke game and stuff like that. I don't know. There was just so many things that kind of struck right with Hearthstone that helped it be such a great community and such a great way to catapult into streaming. That I don't know, that rare mixture you're not going to see too often. But we had an entire community of people that really wanted to come together, promote each other, make content with each other together to prove that their game was esports caliber when the world was telling them that it wasn't esports caliber. So we kind of had a uniform bad guy to go up against together. And now in Hearthstone anyway, and a lot of the other esports, everybody fights with one another to try and get the most viewers.
Yeah,
it's kind of different.
Of course, you're getting to that point in every aspect of every game at the moment. Where people, because Twitch is so much, you know, broader and so much.
It's so much bigger now. People, it used to be gamers versus the world, and now everybody's gamers. So now we're versus each other.
They're not even gamers. You know, people are watching people make food and play music and, you know, do exercise. And I mean, I turned up to Kibler's stream the other day, and he was in the gym. I've never been so confused in my life. I was like, is this now Twitch? This is Kibler lifting a weight with a dog in the background. Well, okay, got it.
That might be what we need to elevate a lot of some of the people that are trying to do just gaming content, make even better just gaming content. Because now they have a common enemy to align themselves against. The gaming content creators versus the fitness creators or whatever. I don't know. You need that kind of natural competition, because when it's just like gamers versus gamers, they kind of cannibalize each other's streams a lot.
We need a common enemy. There you go. There's the line for the day. I'm going to ask you some quick-fire questions here. We'll lighten the mood a little bit. Night or day?
I like nighttime better usually.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes your nighttime's not anybody else's nighttime, but
my sleep schedule's a little messed up because I don't know. I haven't had too many reasons to maintain. Well, I should probably try and work it. Sleep schedule's a hard thing for me, and I'm really bad at it, and I'm kind of embarrassed by it. But my sleep schedule changes by like 35 minutes every day. Yeah. So I just sleep in 35 minutes longer every day, and it just rotates like that. I don't know why, but when I try and not do that, I get really sick. So I just do that.
No, that makes sense. I have a natural body clock of 20 hours awake and 10 hours asleep, which is completely useless. If I stop doing something that I have to pay attention to, my days rotate like nothing. And then you get up and like it's 2 o'clock in the morning and no one in the world is awake, and you're like, oh, okay, this happened.
That's why I say night though, is because sometimes that's my favorite time.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't want to be alone doing nothing at 2 in the morning. But that's when I, find my favorite music or find, my favorite content to consume online is when I'm just, alone with my thoughts at 2 in the morning, exploring the internet, I don't know. I feel like I get to know myself a lot better. And I feel like I need that. If I don't do that at least like once every couple of weeks, I feel like I lose a lot of balance in my life.
Sense.
I don't know.
That makes sense. Walk or drive?
Walk. We walk to the store usually to buy groceries instead of driving all the time.
You see, I love the idea of that until you have to walk back whilst carrying the groceries. And then I'm not such a fan. I mean, obviously, it depends how often you shop, right? Just take the shopping cart. I love it. I love it. Do you have like 14 in your backyard?
Well, you bring it back.
Oh, right. Okay. You take it with you and you go back. I like that. I like that. Silence or noise?
Usually I have music playing in the background. So usually there's some background music. So I can't really say silence. Silence is scary and awkward and powerful. Whereas like noise is comforting and cozy. Yep. But
I agree.
So I don't know. I respect silence, but I prefer a little noise.
Oh, I like that. I like that. The forests or the mountains?
Mountains. That's part of the reason why I'm in Vegas. I love the mountains. Mountains are like super calming.
There's a lot of mountains
I love
in Vegas?
going. Oh, yeah. You can see mountains in every single direction. So I love going for walks and just being able to look at mountains. I like hiking on mountains, that whole thing. I don't know. I grew up in Michigan, so I was around lots of forests. And maybe I've been exposed to too many forests. And I never saw any mountains in Michigan. Michigan's super flat.
Yeah.
So it's super cool now to be exposed to so many of them.
Facebook or Twitter?
I don't even have a Facebook, really. Like, I have a Facebook account that I made in, like, 2016.
Yeah.
That I think got hacked and sells Ray-Bans now. But I haven't bothered to fix that. So don't buy any Ray-Bans from me if you see me selling
Twitter
Ray-Bans.
It is.
That's not me.
Got it.
So I usually use Twitter.
Yeah. Dinner with friends or out to a party?
Dinner with friends. With friends. I like small groups rather than large groups.
Makes sense.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Some people like it the other way.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
mean,
it makes sense if you like smaller groups to choose dinner with friends over a party.
Okay.
Yeah. Bath or shower?
Usually a shower, just due to the timing. Baths take a really long time, but sometimes if I'm like really frustrated about something and need to de-stress, I'll take a bath. I have this little like wooden bath thing that goes across like the tub, and then it's got like a thing that flops up and you put your phone on there. It's got like a cup holder. It's really nice. You could read a book or you listen to music or watch movies.
I could read a book in the bath without any wooden contraption whatsoever, and I'm very happy about it.
Well, you can set it down, do bath stuff, and then, it's got like a towel built in onto it. It's nice.
Okay,
it's comfy.
It does sound quite cool, but I love I really don't like the technology and bathtub thing. My brother-in-law is obsessed. He has the radio on while watching something on the television in the bath.
In the bath.
I'm like, there's too much going on. Just light the candles, shut the door. For me, the bath is where I detox from electronics. So, fair enough. Pen or pencil?
I don't remember the last time I've used a pencil.
Okay.
Just due to availability. Everybody hands you a pen. I don't think since school anyone has ever handed me a pencil and said sign
Draw
this.
me a picture,
But
you know.
tons of times people have handed me pens. So it's like, are pencils even real? Did those go
So
extinct?
you only write
I
on
haven't seen one.
demand? I like
Yeah.
when somebody has to hand you either a pen or a pencil for it to get used.
Well, I'm at my computer 80% of the
Yeah,
day.
this is
I
true.
take notes
This is
in
true.
Notepad all the time.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
there's like on my computer, there's like lots of files in Notepad that are all labeled not important. Because if I'm writing a note for some reason, I just automatically save it as not important. So someone's going to hack my computer and think he's hiding some really important stuff by labeling it not important. And they're like grocery lists and things.
Random telephone
They're
numbers.
all over.
Yeah. Reminders
Someone's
to
gonna
self
hack my
to do something
computer,
tomorrow.
and they're going to be like, one of these not importance is definitely going to be important. And they're going to read through all like 100 not important files. And they're all going to be not important.
Yeah.
So,
Because this is, I mean, you're quite a simple human being in a lot of ways. I think I have a feeling that if something was important, you would just label it important.
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd lose it.
Important, remember. Yeah, exactly. I love it. Do you prefer to shop online or visit the store? Obviously, not in COVID.
I like to shop online. I'm a big Amazon, Prime member. Get my 2 days shipping, all of that. You don't even have to leave the house. It's fantastic. If anything shows up broken, you get to return it. Like, yeah.
Is that an
Can't
advantage,
complain.
not having to leave the house?
Yeah, I don't really like leaving the house much. I don't know.
That's fair.
I like
Some people don't.
I like staying home. So I mean, I like leaving the house on occasion, but I hate going to another business most of the time. Like I'd rather eat at my own house than go to a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
I would rather, hang out at my own house and watch a movie than go to the movies. I don't know. I don't understand the celebration of those activities in particular.
Well, I suppose also,
I'm
you've built your house to be how you want it, and then why would you keep repetitively going somewhere which isn't built for you?
Well,
I mean, I know you didn't build your house, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Rachel in particular, she loves going to restaurants and she loves going to the movies. And I don't understand it, but I do it because, it makes her happy to, go do that kind of stuff. But personally, we got a TV in the living room. We can watch movies. We got a kitchen. We can make food. Why are we paying other people to do things that we could just do?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I like it. Let's ask some more personal questions. What's your favorite place in the world?
My favorite place in the entire world? Probably in this chair in front of my computer.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's
quite a common answer. It's quite a common answer. Most people, we create this zone for ourselves where we can be content creators in a chair in front of a computer because it's where we want to be. So, I get it.
I would prefer to say, at my parents' house with family, on
a balcony in, Venice. But no, if you're happy in your chair, you're happy in your chair.
I'm happy in the chair, but I'm not happy that I'm happy in the chair right now.
You're ashamed of yourself, but you're definite with it. What's your biggest fear in life?
My biggest fear in life. For a long time, it was ants. Because when I was younger, my best friend Paul's older brother kicked me into an anthill that was being dug up. And then I got covered in ants and had to get sprayed down by a hose.
Oh, that's horrible.
So I didn't really like ants for a really long time, but now I'm kind of over it. They're small, they crawl around. You don't talk to them, they don't talk to you. Yeah, they're not a big deal. But for a really long time, I was terrified of ants. I don't know. For a while, one of my biggest fears was watching the stream and YouTube channel die. Yep. That was a big fear. I've kind of more came to terms with that and how I feel about that, and that's not really too much of a fear anymore.
Oh, that's fair.
I don't know.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't really have too many fears that persist, because usually when something becomes a fear, I try and figure out how to tackle it. How do I understand it? What do I got to do? The steps I got to take to try and get over it. I'm a very confront your problems kind of guy.
Yeah.
Except with the ants took a while, I'm going to be honest with you.
You can't really confront the ants problem, can you? You can't just go and, let me just go and find an ant and confront it. It's not quite the same thing, is it? So no, I get
It
that.
took a while, and it was a good story to tell to answer this question, so that I didn't have to expose my true personality and actual
That's
fears. So I held on to it for longer than I should, maybe when I wasn't even afraid of the ants anymore, just because it would allowed me to get out of this social situation without being awkward.
well. Let's speak about something truly personal. How did we come up with the names for the
More
cats?
personal. Oh, the cats. Kiki is my sister Claire's cat, and that she gave to us when she went to go live and teach English in Korea for a little while, and
Okay.
she named it Kiki after Kiki's delivery service. So an anime-related thing.
Right. Okay. Okay. I didn't know what
Yeah,
Kiki's
yeah.
delivery service was. I thought this might be the people that bring her shoes or something. I was a bit
No, no,
confused
no.
why we'd name the cat after them. Right. Okay. That makes more
No,
sense. It's
no,
an
that's
anime
the
thing.
girl's name, and the girl has a cat.
Right.
And I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
And Mr. Pippins, is it?
Mr. Pippins, yeah. Rachel named Mr. Pippins after Pippin from Lord of the Rings.
Ah. Okay.
And he is more of a dog than a cat, if I'm honest with you. He is a funny cat. He's I don't know if he was like raised outside with dogs or something, but he meows all the time, similar to how dogs could bark. He runs up to every single person in the room and kind of nuzzles his nose on them the first time they come into the room. He's very sociable. He'll jump at your leg. Like, he does all the classic dog stuff. He begs for food, you know. He'll try and eat right off your
You've got a
plate.
dog in disguise. Are you sure it's a cat?
I'm not 100% sure. It could be a
Okay.
dog.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Somebody else in chat says that movie is how Shannon, how one of their friends has named two of their pets, the Kiki's delivery service. So it's obviously it's not particularly niche. If you weren't streaming, what would your career of choice be? I mean, you're kind of addressing this right now, I guess.
I had a lot of different goals and different things that I thought I might do when I was growing up.
I mean,
I
this
tried
is
to
a
get
dream
into
scenario, right? So it's you
a
could just
dream
click your
scenario,
finger, be this
not
person.
not realism.
No,
Okay,
no,
okay,
no, no,
okay.
no. We'll get onto that. We'll get onto serious at some point.
I really wanted to, when I was younger, do space exploration, space travel, NASA, maybe work for Elon Musk, that kind of stuff. I had all of the planets that glowed in the dark hung down from fishing wire on my ceiling,
Oh, it's such
and
a
one of my
fantastic
walls, one of my walls was painted as Saturn, and then
Wow.
it had all the stars that glow in the dark on it. And
That's
yeah, I
awesome.
was really big into all that kind of stuff. Turns out I have a terrible stomach. I can't stand being in cars for very long. There's no way I could ever be an astronaut in a million years. I would just vomit all
You
over
said earlier that you can't
everything.
stay still in one place for very long. You'd be absolutely screwed in
can't-
space.
I
yeah.
think it's more. I don't have the capabilities to be an astronaut, but still, like, the mystery and the science and all that sort of stuff, entices me. So maybe I'd be a guy at one of the computers controlling the ships or doing something
That's pretty
sciencey.
Do you want to talk about this mustache? I mean, we had a brief chat with it, but I mean, it's got to be spoken about, right? I mean, I've spent a fair amount of time in Firebat's channel, a small amount, and the mustache gets you a lot of attention.
It gets YouTube comments. We had that part where my YouTube channel was on a downward trend, and I needed something that would create comments. So how do you make comments without potentially saying something ridiculous or doing something that is embarrassing or, political or whatever? What drives engagement? And I did a little bit of research and came to the conclusion that the easiest way for me to get comments on my channel with upsetting the fewest possible people would be to grow a mustache.
That
So
does
this
sort
is
of
my way
include
to
doing something embarrassing, but
I mean,
no, I'm kidding.
no one gets upset, though.
No,
No one gets
no one gets
upset because
upset.
a lot of the best ways to look at trying to raise engagement is like political sort of stuff that forces people to say that they
Contention.
disagree with you or agree with you. Yeah, anything
It's not just
of the
side.
hot button issues, the drama, stuff like that. So the mustache is all the drama my stream needs to get the comments to stay relevant.
Does that
So
say
that's,
something about your viewers? we couldn't be raised by political issues, but the mustache, we commented. Fair enough.
Well, I just don't want to go into that sort of arenas and that kind of stuff. I don't want to make any content that upsets people or, tries to do something other than just the game. But as unfortunately, the landscape that the world is with streaming and how streaming promotion works on the inside with the algorithms and all that sort of stuff, just playing the game isn't good enough. You have to be doing something that's going to be creating comments or doing something that pushes it so that it falls into the systems and gets promoted the way that it has to be successful. So I'd prefer to look like a normal dude and just play the game. But you got to be a little wacky, set yourself aside from the pack, and do stuff that creates a little bit of comments sometimes.
So here's the mustache. Who is your hero or your inspiration?
My hero or my inspiration? My dad, for sure, would be my hero or my inspiration with just like life.
Yeah.
You know, he's always approached very difficult situations, a lot of calm and poise, and been able to reason things out. And I was a very unreasonable child when I was younger. Me and my little brother both had extreme anger issues, I'd say, and we'd fight a lot, and it would go too far every single time.
That really surprises me. You come across as quite a chill human being.
Yeah. My dad's very good at talking down situations, and so I credit my ability to talk and be calm and be chill to my dad, because he would talk down fights with me and my little brother and talk to us like we were adults and walk us through logic and, you know, really take time. And looking back at it now, like at the time I was like, yeah, it's my dad. He's supposed to scold me and teach me stuff and whatnot. But looking back at it now, it's like he would work all freaking day, come home to two kids that just about killed each other and were still screaming. And then he would still take the time to sit down and talk to us for 3 or 4 hours. And then he'd get up at 5:30 in the morning, go to work. So, like, you know, he really... Yeah, he went above and beyond to make sure I wasn't an asshole, which is kind of how I was able to get a stream going.
No,
so I owe a lot to him.
That's awesome. What really pisses you off?
What really pisses me off? Things that make me really angry. I hate it when people backstab other people. I hate it when people take credit for other people's work. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I see that sort of stuff all the time in streaming, and that sort of stuff always irks me. So, yeah, I try my best not to be involved or do anything that does that kind of stuff, but that sort of stuff happens all the time. I really don't like people that climb over other people to get to the top.
Of course.
I don't know. I think more often than not, it does not get punished in streaming.
No, of course not.
So that's what further makes it angry for me. It's like if I saw it happen and then people got in trouble for it and got punished, it'd be like, cool. But the more I see people do some sort of scandal or whatever, or do something horrible, and the toxic thing that they did, they get a little bit of reprimanded for it. But then at the end of the day, just the amount of engagement and social stuff that happened around it pushes their career further. That always just leaves a bad feeling where I feel like there's something wrong with the system when so many people just farm engagement by being terrible people and make it to great heights in their careers.
Yeah, and as somebody who doesn't do that in the slightest and takes a very honest and selfless approach to it, that must be incredibly frustrating to watch other people do.
Well, I don't want to credit myself that much, but
well, no, I mean you don't actively attempt to sabotage anyone ever. You know, you're sort of
right.
You do you.
I try my best.
What never fails to make you smile?
Wait, what'd you say?
What never fails to make you smile?
Never fails to make me smile. 2 hamsters, 1 wheel. It's a good YouTube video where there's 2 hamsters and there's 1 wheel.
This is not a reference to something else. This is actually 2 hamsters and 1 wheel. Right? Okay.
It's actually 2 hamsters and 1 wheel. So then 1 hamster is in the wheel running around, and the other hamster's like, wow, that looks kind of cool. I'm going to jump in that wheel and run around. And then he starts running around also. And then one hamster can clearly run. He's more athletic hamster. I don't know what happened, but he's much better runner than the other hamster. So he starts picking up the pace of the wheel. The other hamster tumbles over. And this hamster, he's like, oh, God, I'm falling. Stop running. And this one doesn't stop running. He keeps going. He's jumping over him. Now he's power hurdling through the wheel over the other hamster. I don't know. It gets me every time.
You know, when I stack these answers up next to each other and I've got people saying my wife, my family, the video games I play, my viewers, and there's Firebat with 2 hamsters, 1 wheel. I love it. That's such a sign of why I'll get to that in a second, actually. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? What's next for Firebat? The question as such.
I'm not really completely sure where I'm going to be in the next 10 years. I have a lot of pivot points coming up pretty soon that are going to shed some light onto that. But I don't see myself continuing to be a content creator as my only occupation over the next 10 years. I'm trying to branch out into other things and do other stuff. I've been doing tons of job interviews. I've been looking at potentially doing some sort of work as an agent. I've been looking at doing some sort of work as a TV executive for classical, normal TV, which is like
fantastic.
really out of the realm of something I thought that would be possible, but like opportunities are coming up. So it's like, yeah, I'll take your interview and see where it goes.
Yeah, no, I think that's brilliant.
But yeah, so
That
I
must
am
put a
not
lot of pressure on
completely
you
sure.
if you're repetitively going for job interviews, and obviously you've got to say what you've been doing for the last 10 years. There's a hell of a lot of internet of Firebat.
Yeah, where I've been a lot of different people, honestly, because you're not the same person for
Of
7
course not.
years
Of
straight.
course not.
So
That must be quite terrifying
yeah.
walking into a job interview with that going on. Or do you just
Well,
decide to present yourself as you are today, and what they do with the backlog is completely up to them?
yeah, what they do with the backlog, I think, is up to them. If they don't understand that, I've changed and grown and become a different person since a clip like 5 or 6 years
Yeah.
ago, then that's their loss. But people change, people grow, and I expect that people will realize I change and grow, and I'll treat them with the same sort of respect and accepting of things that they've done in their past and whatnot. I haven't done anything like super horrible.
No,
by
of
the
course,
way.
but I mean,
Like,
it's just like when you're 18 years old and you're streaming and you're saying what you think and you're playing about. It's not that necessarily that it's anything evil. It's just not what I'd put in for a job interview. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
that's what I find so
exactly.
intimidating. And this has been your only job, am I correct?
Pretty much. I mean, I've had like other jobs, but nothing to where I've been there for more than like a couple of months,
Yeah.
honestly.
So that must be quite intimidating for you.
It's really weird formulating a resume and trying to figure out what people want to see. But generally speaking, I have almost every time I get an interview, I get the second interview somehow. So apparently they like me.
Yeah.
So it's working out well enough, I guess. But yeah, I was terrified. I thought for sure if this whole streaming thing fails, I'd never be able to get another job. I don't have any job experience. I need to go back to college. I hated college. This is a terrible time. And for me, I don't like learning in that way, which is kind of weird because I love learning, just not from a
People
book
learn in
while
different
someone
ways.
yells at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But
And what about the idea of going to like a regular job, like in terms of hours, in terms of
I
having
love
to
the
go and
idea of
turn up for
that.
work? You like it?
Yeah, I love the idea of somewhere where I could go, be somewhere with like colleagues and coworkers for 8 hours a day, come home and then just shut it off. Because so much of my work-life balance has been kind of mixed together with streaming and sort of stuff where I've been doing it for the last like couple of months or so. I'd say I've been trying really hard to work on feeling less bad when I'm not streaming.
So
I don't know.
are we expecting a decline in content creation or a stopping in content creation?
Decline. Probably still want to try and stream 2 or 3 days a week. If I can keep up, if I can even do 3 or 4 days a week, that's pretty much the schedule I was on before almost. So it's pretty good. I was only doing like 100 hours a month. So as far as like how much content that a lot of other streamers do, I'd say I'd probably make a lot less content than most streamers make on average. But I wanted to keep doing it because I enjoy doing it to some extent. I don't hate doing it. I really enjoy creating content. I just hate the climb, I guess, the rush of constantly trying to get higher numbers and that whole thing. I don't like the business side of streaming, but I like playing games and hanging out with people.
Do you think even if you're not financially dependent on it and you're working, you'll be able to take the pressure off of yourself to still maintain a level of viewership, maintain a level of interest, maintain a level of quality in your streams, or will it become just a hobby? And
It's always going to try and maintain the quality. The hardest part for me is going to be not feeling guilty when start going down or not feeling bad when the numbers start going down, because right now I'm not really that financially dependent on streaming already. Like I have properties that I rent out and I have like investments and stuff, and I really haven't spent very much money at all during my entire time with streaming and all of that. So pretty much everything I've bought has ended up making me money, which has been pretty cool because it's been mainly just houses and stuff. So I'm not financially dependent on it right now, and it already is the most stressful thing in my life. So it will continue to be the most stressful thing and the most driving thing in my life, I'm sure. And the hardest part is going to be able to separate myself from that while still doing it. Yeah. So I might have to take breaks at some point just to really separate myself from it so I could focus on the other career paths. Or who knows, maybe I won't be as interested in other things and then try and come back to this. I have no idea. That's why it was so hard to answer. What are you going to do in 10 years? It's more like I'm trying to figure that out myself right now.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely as well coming out of COVID. You're making a lot of changes in a short space of time.
Yeah, and
So it
maybe
must be
maybe
quite scary for
COVID's
yourself.
one of the reasons why I'm doing it, right? Like, why am I trying to make all these changes in my life? Is it because I'm not happy because of COVID? Is it because I'm not happy because of the state of Hearthstone, my current job, or you know,
Hmm.
I don't actually know myself, so I kind of gotta like just try and make adjustments as things progress and try and figure out what I want to do,
Yeah.
which I don't think anybody can ever fully figure out what they
No.
want to do because it's
God no.
constantly changing.
I've purposely avoided talking about the state of Hearthstone right now. I don't want to go into the sort of the details of the Hearthstone world, if you like. But on a very sort of simple note, there's a classic Hearthstone mode coming now. Is there
Mhm.
a lot of nostalgia for you in looking back at where Hearthstone was and where it is now? And is the place of Hearthstone now one of the reasons why you're looking to branch out?
Yeah, I'm not a super big fan of the current state of the game. I've been pretty vocal about that for like 2 years, I'd say, where I'm not like a super big fan of the direction they went into Hearthstone. Like they had the
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, all right, let's just redo that forever because it worked that one time and it's really been uh, too much of the random discover stuff for me. But at the same time, I think I've kind of grown away from card games just since I've been
Yeah.
playing so many freaking card games. It's not only just Hearthstone, but every card game out there is like, who should we get to do this sponsorship activation? And then, oh, let's get Firebat. He was the Hearthstone guy. So then I got to play those card games too. So I've been playing like 10 different card games all the time for 7 years. So it's like,
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
lot.
I've just kind of I burned out, but also I'm not a super big fan of the current state of Hearthstone, but I don't want to blame it too much.
No, that's fair enough.
Uh, but I'm excited in looking back at Classic and thinking positively and nostalgically about it. But at the same time, I think it's probably going to be the third most popular mode. It's not really going to stick just because people are going to want to play the current modern mode. It's going to
Yeah,
be
of
more like
course.
a kind of a wild sort of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a nice little addition. Um, yeah, I don't think. How do I put this? I don't want the last bit of this to sound like a send off. You know, I'm not. You know, you're talking about the possibility of moving on, but it's not. Oh, thanks for coming by. Well, that was the end of Firebat. 10 years later, by the way, he'll be a TV exec.
Well,
So I want to end on
yeah,
a really
yeah.
positive note. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take a moment to talk about why I like your stream so much. For reference, I've been lurking in the channel since 2013, late 2013, or early 2014. I'm not
That's
sure
about
which.
right where I just started.
Yeah, I mean, well, when I first discovered Firebat, we had, I
Wait,
think,
wait.
25
So
viewers.
you watched the streams where I had the webcam that made it look like I was from like the 90s? It
Yep,
was like,
yep.
oh, yeah, okay.
Well, I was there for
The
that.
really
So
old one.
well, I've been there a hell of a long time, and I've seen a progression not only in the stream but in yourself. Um, if I may say so, I think the stream's got steadily more entertaining as you've become more relaxed in who you are. I think the level of gameplay may have declined minorly, but it still amazes me that to this day you can pick up Battlegrounds, and you know we were in the top 100 when we hit the 10k MMR, I think, this recent season.
Yeah.
It still amazes me that you can bring that level of skill when it's required. Um, you know, I mean, you've now been out the competitive scene for when was GM? Was that 18 months ago? A year? Something like that?
Yeah, about a year
Yeah,
ago is when
about a
I
year
got out
ago.
as GM.
And it always surprises me that the level of depth and the level of analysis you can bring into any form of the stream. I love the fact that there's a certain element of memery going on without ever being a meme stream. You know, you always are focused on the analytical side, the educational side, while still having a bit of fun. I mean, I don't know how much people would have seen, but for me, one of my favorite memories of the stream was you playing an even hunter and firing a bow and arrow at a wall every time you pressed your hero power. I mean, that's the memery side of things, right? We've played Jackbox and we've done the silly things, but we've also sat there and watched you work out what decks you want to bring to competitive and how to improve them, and looked at how other people are playing and done analysis on what other decks people are playing. And I think that's such a commendation to yourself, because most streamers fall in one of the two categories. You know, people are either turning up for a bit of fun and silliness, or they're turning up for high-level gameplay and analysis, and you've always managed to straddle both, and I think that's just exceptional. And I think for me, that's why you've managed that, and being a non-offensive person. I don't think in the entire time I've watched you stream, I don't think I've ever seen something where I've gone, shit, that's controversial. You know, you've always managed to be an unoffensive human being, which is a remarkable talent in the Hearthstone industry. There aren't many of those around. So yeah, I think that for me is what's made it such a long-term success and such a joy to be in.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That was really nice.
That's all right. Well, I mean, I've been around for a while. I must like it for some reason, right? But yeah, no, thank you so much. I know it can be a bit intense. You know, we sort of delve into things, but I hope you didn't regret it. I'm going to open up to chat for a few questions. If anybody has a question, feel free to pop it in chat, and we'll see what Firebat thinks. We've had a couple already. Please don't perform this act, but can you put your leg behind your head, says Daramiro89.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice, easy one to say when you don't have to prove it, isn't it?
Well, I played sports. I did like the, soccer and rugby. So I got like really flexible legs. Yeah. I don't know. I could do the splits too. I had like really flexible legs.
You can do the splits? Jesus. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. Spengy90 says, what type of content can I find on Firebat's YouTube channel? I mean, you can just click it. But he asks if it's more educational, entertainment, or gameplay.
It's Hearthstone gameplay with commentary. So I play Hearthstone and I have conversations with chat about whatever they happen to be talking about during the day. And then we take the best. We do that for like 6 hours, and then we do that for like 4 hours. We try to do it.
We used to do it for 12. We now do it for 4.
We used to do it for 12, yeah. And then we take like the best parts of that for, their gameplay highlight moments, or maybe there's a really good conversation that happens, or some really good wholesome interaction that happens, and then we try and put that into a YouTube video with a little bit of edits, like camera zoom ins and that kind of things that, help keep it entertaining and flowing.
Yeah, I mean, I think in some ways, when I talked about the channel, I sort of answered this, because for me, it is so much about the fact that you straddle the educational and the gameplay, which makes it entertaining. Sorry, the education and the entertainment, which makes it, its whole package.
Yeah, that's the goal at the end of the day. I'm trying to tell people how to play Hearthstone better, but I also want it to be fun. So
yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I've also been asked a couple of questions not via the stream, which I must ask here, so just give me a second. First of all, if you could only play one class for the rest of your Hearthstone constructed career, what would it be?
One class for the rest of my Hearthstone constructed career? Probably Mage. Mage has been pretty fun, honestly. The random generation in Mage keeps it fresh from time to time, whereas like some of the other classes get pretty repetitive. I mean, like my favorite classes were always like kind of like Druid and Rogue, because Druid, Rogue, and Hunter, because I was always like really good at them. Yeah. Because those classes are all like about tempo and knowing how to pull ahead in small spots. So like if you just know how you can set up to get the best sort of coin play on Rogue and get ahead by one unit, then you can kind of snowball that into a win a lot of the time. So it's all about like minor mechanical things. But man, does that get boring after a few years of just like knowing how to edge out one more stat than the opponent, or force them in a certain play pattern, which then gives you one additional stat at a certain point. Whereas like Mage is more about generating random crap and figuring out, how do I use this random crap to win the game, which is more of a fun puzzle if you have to do it forever.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really thought you were going to go Druid, so I was quite surprised by that. And Esther Live says, was the World Championship your greatest achievement in gaming to date?
My greatest achievement for me personally in gaming, well, like technically speaking, if we go by prize money, I got second place in the Chinese World Championship, which was more prize money than first place in the non-Chinese World Championship.
Fair.
So if we're going by prize money, second place in the Chinese World Championship.
No, for you personally, what felt like the greatest achievement?
For me personally, my favorite achievement in all of esports was when Frodan said I was Caster of the Year in 2015. So it wasn't a real achievement. It was just kind of something Frodan said in front of a group of people that I also respect. So it's kind of cool, like a respect from your peers kind of thing. Because I was really bad at talking in front of people, and I was always been like really antisocial. So like I took a year of time dedicated to esports casting to try and branch out and be able to communicate with people better. And apparently I was the best at it. So that was a huge achievement for me, because I was trying really, really hard to get better at it, because I was it was a skill that I wanted to try and develop and felt like it would be important to me.
And as a true entertainer, you've segued perfectly into my last question I've been instructed to ask via Twitter. Bob says, have you considered casting as a future career? Are you interested in doing that?
I am interested in casting more in the future. Casting is sort of in a weird place with live streaming nowadays. A lot of tournaments, instead of just having one broadcast where the tournament is streamed, many tournaments have all of the individual streamers stream their own perspective. Thus, the streamer themselves becomes their own personal caster because the tournament's just an extension of their personal stream. So then you're seeing these tournament broadcasts casted by amazing casting talent, only getting like 600 to 1,000 viewers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
that's
a dying...
sort of happened because of COVID, right? When we go back to live events where people turn up, that will...
Maybe. I think that there's just a huge amount of profitability in like, what's the best way to capture the market? Like, what's the purpose of a tournament? The purpose of a tournament is to capture the Twitch and YouTube viewership and turn it into, ad revenue or whatnot, turn it into money, promote some product, show the sponsors, do whatever. What does that better? Making people go from their usual channel to a new channel to then experience a thing and get ads, or having them play on their normal channel, doing their normal stream thing that people already expect to be there and do, and then, just showing the ads there that way. So it's like the whole idea of the tournament needing its own tournament channel is sort of going by the wayside. And the tournaments are in the future, I think, majority, except for your LCS or your like really big
that's
ones.
also that's team based, right? So you can't get the team to stream it from their own channels because that would be it'd be a flipping mess.
Right.
But in terms of the individual gameplay stuff,
any of the top 3 esports, I'd say for the most part in the future, a lot of their tournaments are just going to be the streamers themselves doing the commentating for themselves, because it's just a more direct hook for advertisers to show their product. It's cheaper, requires less production, less people. It's cheaper and better
money. So, you can always become an MLS commentator.
But I plan on still doing some casting just for fun and just to do it. If there's a game I'm passionate about, I'm definitely going to try and do some casting. I know TFT casting. I was pretty inspired by the TFT broadcast that happened about a week ago. Frodan and Esports Law did a fantastic broadcast. He had less than 1,000 viewers on the main stream. But still,
Frodan's an immense caster, so that's
Frodan loves TFT too. So he's so good at casting TFT.
The only TFT exposure I've had on Twitch is through Skara, actually. Who's an ex-League of Legends player. So I haven't actually seen people coming in from the other competitive esports genres. So I have to check out Frodan.
In-depth analysis on TFT, then the Frodan Esports Law casting duo from that tournament that happened last week was really, really good. They had the Pokemon World Champion as the third caster. He wasn't as good, but he was all right.
He was wonderful. I'm sure he was. Lastly, Benji90 says he wants to be better than me at Battlegrounds. So with Firebat's YouTube, will I be able to achieve more than 7k MMR in EU?
I haven't played Battlegrounds in a while on YouTube. I've been mainly focused on constructed content. Battlegrounds is not my favorite game.
No.
It's the most popular version of Hearthstone right now. So if you want to grow as a streamer, it's the number 1 thing. If I was trying to grow as a streamer, I'd be playing 8 to 10 hours of Battlegrounds a day on stream, probably.
I could not do that.
I don't know.
I manage 2 hours in the morning. No, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
It's not my favorite game. So I wouldn't contact me for getting better at it. I would look at Celissa.
I would contact Firebat for getting better at it. But in general, Celissa is an amazing Battleground streamer and one of my favorite people to watch. She's brilliant. Yeah. And if you're in the daytime, then Show is somebody who's really good to watch.
Show's good. Purple's good. Educated Collins is really good.
Purple's fantastic, but streams at all sorts of awkward hours and often doesn't talk. So whilst he's an amazing player, you have to watch the gameplay.
Yes. He's one of my favorite players for Battlegrounds because he pushes the limits of what I thought was possible. He does things like he'll level the Tavern 4 first without buying a unit or crazy stuff like that, and then still stabilize and win because he's always just trying to think outside the box. That guy is a very, very creative thinker for sure.
And he always has been. I mean, Purple's a really talented player in a lot of aspects.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of brings us to a conclusion, really. It's been an absolute honor. I mean, 7 years of enjoying your content from a viewer perspective. To have you here on my channel, that's definitely something new and exciting for me. Um,
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
I really, really hope that you keep up the content creation as a hobby, and that it doesn't put too much pressure on you, because it is something that so many people enjoy. You know, I mean, you only have to look at the number of people who turn up who have been subscribed for 66 months, you know, and they're still there. That's
It
crazy,
is
you know.
kind of
People
crazy,
people
yeah.
love what you bring, and if you decide to go elsewhere and you move on, then obviously we wish you the best of luck. I hope that you find something that's both interesting and fulfilling. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
you will. You're a very, you know, very
And
talented
I
human being.
hope I hope your whole Twitch career takes off. I mean, you've been around it for so long.
Do you
You
want to be a
saw
mod?
so many people stream. Come full circle. How bad for
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
No, I've seen that in your own stream. I'm good, actually. Do you know what? Come as a viewer. I'd love to have you. But no, honestly, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm going to do a few little notification-y things, but it's time for us to say goodbye, and thank you so much to Firebat.
Bye,
I would
guys.
say, when are you streaming next, but you probably know even less than we do about that. Probably sometime during the week next week, at some time that may be during the day, depending on which country you live in.
Monday, probably Monday at like noon.
Noon PST.
PST, yeah,
Yeah,
PST.
okay.
We moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For reference, I gave Firebat the time in his old time zone for turn up to this interview.
Yeah,
Where he received the message
luckily,
going, couple of hours, right? 40 minutes, please. But no.
luckily, yeah, I chanked. That was good.
But no, thank you so much for coming. And yeah, I'll catch up with you soon.
All right, take care.
Cheers. You too.
See you guys, and bye to all the viewers. Have a good rest of your day.